Meanwhile, an attack of this magnitude, previously unfathomable, reinvented the coordination of the safety and security in our cities, especially New York City here. Founder of the Guardian Angels, Curtis Sliwa, joining us live in studio here. Curtis, good to see you. I want to first thank you for taking the time on a day like this to come in on set to talk to us about this. And we'll give you the floor. Just what goes through your mind today on this day, 21 years later, here we are.
Well, you know, I think of it locally and I think of it around our country, and the memories begin to fade. People are not even thinking about it. I see what's happened over in England that's dominating coverage. This is our solemn occasion. I have 3 sons in public school. They started Thursday. Not even a mention of it in public school, and I doubt there'll be a mention tomorrow. So as this is the 21st anniversary of our commemoration, it just keeps fading out of sight, out of mind. We saw what happened in Afghanistan. The 3rd time might be the charm. Once again, we're all relaxed. We're living our normal lives. Let this be a reminder that they're out there again, and they're looking, and they know we're vulnerable, and they want to come at us again. And they're going to come here in New York, because that's where they've always come.
You know, as we've been watching this coverage, one of the thoughts that I've had today, and I would like your answer to this, do you think if, heaven forbid, a terrorist attack were to happen on U.S. soil again, would we be able to come together the way we did on September 12th, 21 years ago, or would it be different this time? No,
Americans will come together. You remember, that was a very contentious election. Bush 43 and Gore. Bush was hated in New York City, and yet when he came here and he spoke on the rubble with the bullhorn, it united all Americans. We always unite. But I will tell you this, we better wake up, because in some cave in South Yemen in Afghanistan, there's a group of men honoring their jihadists. And you know, they went up on the Paradise Express right to Allah's side. They intend on doing it again. So America, beware. You know, we put this out of sight, out of mind, but they never forget, and they always prepare, and they're ready to come at us again.
You know, looking back, 19 hijackers on that day. It should have been 20, I believe, at that time, but it was 19 that were able to carry out those attacks, and just how well coordinated it was when you think about even from the flight school that they went through in California, and then choosing the planes that had the most fuel, the ones that were going from East Coast to West Coast at this time. And then here we are today. You've got TSA, you've got the Department of Homeland Security. None of this existed before. There are many, like you were pointing out, that don't know a life before that. That used to be the way it was. You could get on board with just about anything. Even a knife up to 4 inches was allowed on a plane. Nowadays, you know, it's a no-go. Where would be our vulnerable points at this point? Would it still be aviation? Would it be somewhere else? Would it be the southern border?
No, it would be the fact that we vilify ICE. ICE, which was created in the aftermath of the attack on 9/11, to make sure that people did not overstay their visas, to make sure there was not illegal aliens coming in who were wishing to do harm. We live in an area where if you say ICE, they say, we don't cooperate with you, elected officials. Can you imagine? This is a federal agency that came about to protect us. These brave men and women put on bulletproofs each day and go out there. And local officials, elected officials throughout the country in sanctuary cities will not communicate with ICE, which is there to protect every one of us. So how can we fully be protected if there are governments in our country that will not cooperate with the brave men and women of ICE who are there 24/7, 365 to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And that's one of the thoughts that I have every year. But it was standing out to me this year as I was watching all of those politicians there at Ground Zero. I was thinking of that very thing that you were talking about. And we just heard President Biden speaking moments ago and talking about the need to stand up for democracy and the need to bring this country together. Your thoughts on whether or not he is doing a good job being the person that is at the top. So you lead from the top. And he doesn't seem to be doing that.
I'm not looking at him in the white trench coat today in D.C. I'm thinking Thursday night outside of Independence Hall when he was dividing our country. That's not what a president should be doing. Hopefully, as we move forward, he will amend what was a very caustic and dividing speech and beneath any president of the United States.
I just want to pause our interview, if I can, for a moment here. We're just a few seconds away from the next moment of silence here at 10:28. That would be when the North Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. That would be the final moment in which a moment of silence would be upheld. And just to note, as we move into that moment, if you're looking at the timeline of events, it was 102 minutes between that first attack on the North Tower and then the collapse there of the final tower. And noting even the South Tower came to rubble in a mere 10 seconds. So here we are, a moment of silence. Let's listen in for the final collapse of the North Tower at the World Trade Center. Curtis, I'll bring you back into this here as we wrap the final moment of silence, the sixth moment of silence there, the North Tower collapsing. We've got video of it. Take us back to that moment, sir.
I was on the air, and so I actually saw the towers collapsing. I was on the radio and was on for the next eight hours. And remember, there was no internet. There was no information. There was a lot of disinformation. And then after my shift was finished, I ran down to the pit, which became the world's largest crematorium. Pictures do not do justice to what I saw before me. It was really apocalypse now. And the smell, I mean, if anything, it's the smell that was overwhelming. The smell of death and carnage and destruction that lingered for weeks and months thereafter. That's something that indelibly is imprinted in my mind and in my body and my soul. And we should all be united, whatever our political differences, to make sure that this never happens again.